The 2026 FIFA World Cup meal at McDonald's is underway with one of 9 legendary cups in the lineup. Christian Pulisic, David Beckham, Lamine Yamal, Ronaldinho, Thierry Henry, Son Heung-min, Alphonso Davies, Santi Jimenez. And between the posts, it's Grimace. Get one of 9 collectible cups with a FIFA World Cup meal. At participating McDonald's for a limited time while supplies last. All rights reserved. 2026 McDonald's at FIFA World Cup 2026.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
Stand by for picture. First positions, everyone. Yo, go.
And action! Hello and welcome to this week's excellent episode of the Filmmakers Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk
studio film,
independent film, high-end TV,
and everything in between.
How to get them made, how to make them, and how to try not to
royally F it up, in our very humble opinion.
I'm Giles Alderson. I'm a writer, director, and a producer. And today on the show, I'm joined by my very special host and amazing filmmaker, Phil Hawkins. Hello.
Hello, mate. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Phil, if you don't know, has made an amazing Star Wars fan film, which sounds like it's the bad... No.
Sounds like it's an amateur hour playing with lightsabers, which it was, but in the Sahara Desert.
It's one of the best things you might ever see for a fan film. Go watch that on YouTube now. It's amazing. But he's also a brilliant director, separate to that as well, and has made Robin and the Hoods, which is out now on Sky Movies and various other places. And before that, he did Prancer: A Christmas Tale.
Yes.
Prancer
Has a
Got
Tale.
the name right. Prancer and Its Tale. Phil is a big shot studio movie director, so you're lucky to have him.
Well, I'm always lucky to be here, and especially for this kind of conversation, which I would imagine there's some angry thumbs that have pressed play already, depending on the clickbaity title you've used. I don't know what it is, but
clickbaity title. I'm ready. Welcome.
Everyone,
to
just
this.
take a breath, okay? Just take a breath. It's AI. Yes, we've said it, and we're going to say it a lot. But let's not be angry about this. Same with the same anger level I had going into the interview. I think I got a bit feisty.
You did, because today we're diving straight into the collision point Phil is talking about between old school, massive Hollywood action and the absolute new cutting edge technology in filmmaking. Joining us today is a man who operates at the highest level of global cinema. He is the president of Millennium Media and the co-founder of Arcana Labs. He is the fantastic Jonathan Younger. Just so you know about Jonathan, by the way, going into this, he has produced films grossing well over 2.5 million worldwide. Right? He's a powerhouse producer. Billion.
2.5 billion, yes.
Billion. Did I say million?
Yeah.
It's billion. Wow. I did see. He has made movies, action franchises, huge big movies over the last decade, including the Expendables, the Hitman's Bodyguards, the Hitman Bodyguard series, the Fallen series as well. London Has Fallen, Paris Has Fallen. He's also produced a massive vehicles like Jolt with Kate Beckinsale, The Protege with Maggie Q, and the upcoming John Rambo for Lionsgate with Sylvester Stallone back involved. But alongside handling explosion-heavy practical action slates, Jonathan is also building one of the most serious enterprise-grade AI ecosystems in the entire entertainment business. So, Phil, you mentioned there going into this, you had some thoughts, some wise words, and it was one of the reasons I wanted you to join me on this episode, because I know how vocal you've been about AI in the filmmaking industry, and hence why I wanted to get Jonathan on to chat about this, for him to defend himself. So, you going in, what did you think?
Well, I don't want to spoil what you're about to listen to, but I was ready for a fight. And I would say go into this conversation with an open mind, because I certainly didn't. in the first instance, and you're probably going to be surprised with the results. It may end up being something between a tail and something between people's legs. Whose legs, whose tail? We can find out.
The magic.
I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit after the conversation. It's a long conversation, so we'll keep this short. But out of all the podcasts and all the interviews, this genuinely made me reevaluate what I thought about AI and what was possible. And I'm someone that, is very technical and always trying to look at the new tools. But this conversation was really fascinating for me as a filmmaker. So yes, have a listen, take a breath, be zen, and enjoy the my character arc throughout this entire conversation.
Absolutely right. This is great. You're going to enjoy this. We're going to jump in on the end of this as usual and do a little dissection of what we feel after you've listened to the episode. So stay tuned for that. And remember, this Friday, the 19th of June, we are doing a live event. We're doing a networking event and screening of a film called Voidance, which Dom is heavily involved in the cinema run of. And we thought, well, if we're hosting the Q&A, which we are at Genesis Cinema this Friday the 19th, 7:30 onwards, why don't we do some networking as well? So that is what's happening. So come and join us this Friday. Link to that is in the show notes. And do remember that all the proceeds from your tickets that you do buy are going to the filmmakers. That's what's important here, just to remember that. Link to that is in the show notes this Friday the 19th at Genesis Cinema in London. Come join us, come say hello, because we haven't done one of these type things for a long time, since before COVID. Right, there you go. So whether you're trying to structure a high concept genre feature for the independent market or international market, navigating upcoming theatrical releases like Phil's UK Invent Cinema and online launch for Robin and the Hoods, or for Sessions, I'm going to do a big cinema run with that, or figuring out how to protect your own IP in this digital age. Jonathan Younger, our guest today, delivers the absolute unvarnished truth of the business and where we are at now. So grab a brew. As Phil says, go in with an open mind on this. Get your notebooks out, get them ready. Welcome to the show, the absolute brilliant Mr. Jonathan Younger.
Giles.
Hey, Jonathan, how are you?
What's up, pal?
Good, mate.
Long time.
I know, it's been a while. I think it was the last time we saw each other was in Cannes, I believe, though the official time before that was like just before COVID when I came to the Millennium's offices. I think that's the last time I saw you. Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
And then I was in during COVID. I ended up going to Bulgaria, and I was in Bulgaria for a long time after, because we were shooting. So we were still shooting movies. That's the benefits of having a studio.
Yes.
We just opened it.
Yeah, it's a big benefit. Yeah, I've just come back from Bulgaria. I've been there pretty much 9 months. So I've just recently come back shooting another film over for Yadev over there at the studio. It's nice. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and for the team. This is Phil Hawkins. He's a director.
Hello.
He's made some amazing films over his time.
Oh, you're very nice to meet you.
Hey, Phil. I love your collection. I just moved to a new office. So I don't have any of my cool stuff in the back.
Have the stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
the stuff.
You gotta have the stuff.
Phil's got the stuff. The Star
Got a
Wars.
Rambo knife over there. I got
mate, you gotta get those on the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm bringing it all in soon. I have the bow from Last Blood. I have so much memorabilia. I collect so much stuff. I literally have a storage unit of so much memorabilia. I'm such a nerd with it.
No, but that's great. Right, and how cool, because it's your stuff of the films you've made over the time as well. Or have you got from other
some of the films? I made some of the films I haven't made.
Oh.
I had a friend of mine steal me my friend was working at Warner Brothers in London, and he stole me a brick of gold from Gringotts Bank.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
The fake pieces of gold.
I've actually got a coin right in front of me from the new Harry Potter, which is the untreated Gringotts coin.
Have you really?
Oh, really?
Did you go?
Cool. Is that from the series?
From the series, yeah.
Did you do a set visit?
Awesome.
Tidied it up. No. I was checking out a I was in Ireland for a movie, and they were doing all the 3D printed. Everything is 3D printed in that movie. Every single thing is 3D printed. They had massive machines going on.
Wow.
Like, there you go. Have a coin. Don't use that in the podcast.
Yeah,
It'll tell me off.
I love it. I've my friend Ben Caron's on the latest series, so I'm as a director. So I said, "Oh, can I come and shadow you?" But they're so secretive. They're like, "No one can come. Sorry, no one's allowed." So it's pretty exciting.
That's kind of like, that's kind of like I remember when Disney came to the studio. And they shot that movie. I forgot what it's called. It's called like Lady in the Water, like The Crossing or whatever it was. The one with Daisy Ridley where she swam across the sound and the sound.
Oh yes, Lady in the Sea.
Lady of the Sea.
Lady in the Sea or something
lovely.
Like that.
Yeah.
So they shot there, and then there was another Disney project, and I remember one day like, in order for crew to work on Disney, like you had to go to Disney school. Doesn't matter how long, like you have to do like this like 3-day program that they set up over there, and you have to like be Disneyfied. And they shut down the stages. Like they had security outside of the stages 24 hours a day.
Oh
like,
my
they shut it down.
gosh.
Our stuff, in the studio, everyone's walking around.
Yeah.
Like, and I remember one day I was standing by my office at the studio in the hallway, and I mean, Phil, have you ever been to Boyana?
I've shot there, yeah.
So when you walk in, it's like it feels like oh wow, of course this was communism.
Yeah.
And I was like smoking a cigarette in the hallway, and someone comes up to me and they're like, "You can't smoke here," and I was like, "What?"
What?
I was like,
do you know who I am?
You know who you're talking to? And then it turns out later it's like the guys from Disney, and I learned like that day I was like, "Oh, I don't smoke anymore."
Because the guys from Disney didn't.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they're trying to keep that lovely representation. Well, I wonder what they're doing that 3-day, did you say? Or 3-day?
Yeah, there's like
what do they do?
like this like cruise school, like you learn some of their protocols, and I guess they have specific protocols.
Wow. Oh God, imagine if you got to dress up as well.
Out.
Yeah, imagine if you got to put the outfit on. Just this is
choose your
character for the 3 days. You're gonna have to impersonate them at the end, and you do a test of how they walk. I love it. Well, look, this is thanks so much for coming on as well, and obviously it's great we can talk to you about filmmaking, but also Arcana Labs as well, and have that full chat and dive into it, and the best thing to do, and the way forward at the moment. And how AI is changing and what's changed with it, and how things like this are moving forward and progressing in the industry. And I think it's really important that way. Let's maybe start with why you wanted to do this. Obviously coming from the filmmaking background and what you've done and the amazing films you've produced, which you've mentioned in the intro, so we don't have to do it again now. And then to move on to sort of doing, wanting to do Arcana and moving forward in that way. What was the spark of inspiration of why you wanted to do it? And also maybe you could just, for our audience, even though we'll again touch this on the intro, explain what it is.
Yeah. So Arcana is an ecosystem of all the Gen AI tools in one place. And Arcana Labs, what we do is we have, we're primarily a B2B product because we're pretty high end. We use pretty high end generative AI. We fine tune all the models. We have direct partnerships with all the model companies. That's really designed for cinematic quality. But we're all about artist driven AI. So human touch points along the way, human first. And so I had, and anyone can go and check out the platform. It has, and then we do our own production services as well. We're in the education system. Arcana is being taught in schools starting in August across the U.S.
Wow.
Where students are learning from, they're doing media studies, advertising, all kinds of stuff where it's a content forward industry. So we have companies that are using us now that are making 30, 40 commercials a month for broadcast, which is crazy.
Wow.
Companies putting out 600-700 pieces of content a week. We just trained a big online gaming company that just hired 60 in-house AI artists. It's a new job. But as you mentioned, Giles, I'm a filmmaker, and I had zero intention of ever getting into AI. What the hell did I know about a tech company? I'm a filmmaker, and so but we didn't have a choice. The business model which I work in and many others work in is, the indie model, the pre-sale business, where we get these packages, we put them together, and we have to pre-sell movies to different distributors around the world and get the minimum guarantee and go to the bank and get your money and make the movie. The problem is those numbers for minimum guarantees were going down because they didn't know where revenues were coming from. And it really started, there's been a big dip over the last 7 years, I'd say. But really with the streamers coming in, controlling the pay one window and of which it would normally have been video, the buyers didn't know where the revenues were coming from. So they couldn't pay these high minimum guarantees, which means that our budgets were coming down. If our budgets were coming down, we still had to deliver very, very high, production value. So how do you do that? Nobody told the actors. The actors never got the memo that there's an issue in the industry. They still want their money. They still want their quotes, which I get. But how do we raise production value while lowering costs? And thank God there's a technology out there called artificial intelligence, where if used properly and ethically, you can really, really pour gasoline on the fire for your films or television series or whatever content it is that you're making. You can make it faster. You can, I'm telling you right now, like we're servicing movies where they don't have the budget right now to do full crowds and things in stadiums and things, and we're showing them how to build that stuff, So that's kind of where it came from. It came from a need. I had to get super educated. I was already at this point, I was trying to build Arcana. I was nearly almost 20 years into my career. I needed that like I needed a hole in the head.
Yes.
Like I was kind of getting to the point where I was like, I don't need to make 6-8 movies a year anymore. Maybe I could do 2. I want to spend more time with my family. I want to do all. And then we saw this issue, and I love the movie business so much, and I love movies, and I love cinema, and it was hard because everyone thought in the beginning that I was this guy that was trying to just destroy the industry, from people at the MPA to peers of mine, until now, almost nearly 5 years later, people are getting their heads out of the sand and realizing, okay, this is a technology that's not going anywhere. There are ways to apply these things across the board, from pre-production to production to post, where we can really help get the best products out there for the right price, where it makes sense for a distributor to be able to license, and they know what they're going to be able to do on it and be able to come back and live to fight another day. I don't want to sound like Joan of Arc, but I was trying to save the industry. I wasn't trying to ruin it.
Yeah. And that must have been quite difficult when people are, coming at you and saying you're trying to ruin it. And how did that make you question it at times and think, should I be doing this? Or was it, I know, like you said, you had to, this was the way forward. But was there a time when you thought, but should this be me?
There were times where I thought I'm going to be very honest, where I wasn't the right person just because I wasn't versed in tech. But I learned very quickly, you have to just surround yourself with people. It's just like a production. You have to surround yourself with people that are way smarter than you are, and that's just how to be successful in anything, I think. And then we had this conviction of we got to just keep going, because it's funny. The MPA one year was like, no, AI, no, Yoni, we don't want to hear about it. We don't want to know about it. Meanwhile, I had been the poster child for MPA, Creative Future, IFTA, going to Washington, you're doing all this stuff I did for piracy and intellectual property, and putting my name and face out there and being like, people have to stop stealing our stuff. I had a bounty on my head on the dark web for all the pirates at one point, and then now the MPA was like, no. And then a year later, they come calling and they're like, could you do a seminar for us about AI? I was like, sure.
You were like, wow, a change around. The MPA is the Motion Picture of America, for those just in case they don't know. Yeah. So interesting. What was the first film that you thought, what you put it onto, if you like? What was the first film that you went, right, we can use this in terms of?
It was very light. It was very light. There's a bunch of movies it's being used for now. Like, we're using it in various stages. I can't get into the names of them. Although some of them are huge, some of them are not, but I am under very strict NDAs with the studios, and I don't want to. But we are doing studio movies. We are doing studio verticals. We are doing studio all kinds of stuff across the board, from animation to helping with live action things, but nothing where any actors are being replaced. Nothing like that. Like all of them have traditional. We believe in traditional post sound, post picture. We build based off of data of real human storyboards, real human development, real actors. We do not do actor replacement. I don't believe in it. I think I also not. I don't believe it because I'm high and mighty and something. I actually don't believe it because it just doesn't look good. Like, and you at the end of the day, it needs to look good.
Yeah.
So, but early on an early iteration of the platform, when we were shooting a movie coming out in June called Lucky Strike.
Yep.
Which was my war film that I basically got together with the same people of the Outpost and we just did it again.
Right.
But we had a much lower budget than the Outpost, and it was a tough time. And so we were like, okay, where can we try to say? And what we did was I gave the platform to different heads of department. And I said, if you need to explore this, explore it. If not, don't. And one of the things we learned was production design was moving faster in the sense of getting iterations of design, being able to hone in on things. Another thing where it's a production designer's nightmare. You guys probably know about this, but when you give a production designer like, okay, and on top of the fact that you're designing all the sets of the movie, we need you to make all of these photos of the actor when they're young, this one when they're older, their family together, all the bullshit photos, right? That are like there. That's like production designers hate that because it takes so much. It takes so much time.
Yeah.
So what they did was they used Jesus. Why is it keep going? Sorry about that.
It's
it was
keep it on loud. It's fun.
And so what the production designer actually ended up using it to be able to use our actors, who some of them were coming in way late. There was no time to set up the photo shoots to make those photos and things like that, and the period photos. And they used for some of it on images, but based on the data that we had, and it was everybody doing work. And so that was kind of cool. They saved a lot of time and we saved some money there, And, I think we saved something like, at that time, it wasn't big, it was like 50 grand. But on a $7.5 million movie, $8 million movie,
adds up.
That's a big ticket, that makes a difference in the independent world.
So are you seeing AI tools as a tool? So as another brush to use in terms of in the process of physical movie making? Because there will be people listening to this and have clicked on this thing thinking, oh God, here we go. The AI fear mongering, AI is here to take our jobs. AI is going to replace everything. And that is it's an extreme, but that is a genuine concern from people listening. And for the record, I use AI tools. I use them to previous things. I use them to use concepts and get ideas across. Not a huge fan of generative video because I don't feel the controls there enough for my own perfection. But anyway,
I'll show you how you can get control. But yes.
So you're seeing this as a tool not to replace filmmaking, but rather than a tool to be used.
Yeah, no, so we can't replace filmmaking. There is no tool where you press a button and you have a movie or you have a television series. It's like you said, Phil, it just goes in your toolbox of stuff. And I'll give you an example of where it really fits. Let's say you're shooting a horror film, a genre movie. And you're, for the most part, genre pictures are pretty contained, right? They're lower budget. They don't really have big casts and stuff. So let's say you're shooting a horror movie for $1 million. So what do you get on $1 million? 18 days?
If you're lucky, yeah.
17 days? Like, what are you getting to shoot? So what's happening there? It's super contained. Everybody's rushed. It's hard for the director to get the best performances out of the actors. I don't care what you say. When you have that much little time to shoot, you're doing a lot of setups in a day. You're not getting a lot of takes. But what if now on the schedule, your insert shots, establishing shots, your stuff that'll give scope can be handled as a previs, but with the AI tools. But the previs today can be final product based on data as the movie shot. It's based on the data of what you're shooting. If you can do and stills and stuff like that you shot yourself. So now that you're doing that, so let's say that would normally take 3 days, 4 days on the schedule, something like that, depending on how much scope you want to give. And now you can give it even more. So what's the director able to do now? He or she can focus on the performances and the scares. Right? The scares. Scares take a while to shoot. You also have to shoot more scares generally than you would have, because a lot of times in the edit, a scare doesn't work. And you have to figure out another way, or you have to take your time with your shooting. You're dutching the camera, or whatever it is that you're doing, or whatever scare you're doing. I prefer shooting scares old school with fishing string and doors and all that stuff. But that stuff is awesome, and you feel the warmth of that, but it takes time. It
does, yeah.
And so what if you can, now you're doing a blend. You're doing this blend, and you're taking something where it was for $1 million, but you're going to make it look like $7 million, $8 million. Now you're giving yourself more of a chance in the market too. Another example I have is our jobs going to be affected with AI. I think in the creative industry, not as much. I think if I was talking to a podcast with accountants and lawyers and stuff, probably. But I think there is no substitute for human creativity at the moment. There's enhancements with AI tools, and there's going to be a lot of AI slop out there, but there's a lot of crappy films and stuff out there. That was always a thing. There's just going to be more of it because it's easier to generate and do stuff. But I'll give you an example. What about a guy? There was a guy in India. He started, this kid, great guy, 26 years old, couldn't afford a camera. This is a true story. Couldn't afford a camera. Finds Arcana, reaches out to me on Instagram, and I tried to answer everyone, and says, I really like this platform. And I asked him, I get on he asked if he could speak to me. So I speak to him. I said, what's your dream? He said, my dream is to make a horror film, 1980s, like a 1980s American style campy horror film. I'm like, that's awesome. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of that genre. Let's go for it. So I helped him get on the platform, and I helped him with development. He wrote a script himself, and I helped him with development. He started to work within the platform based on his sketches. He was a sketch artist also. He couldn't afford a camera, couldn't afford to do a day of production, none of that stuff. And he made this cool little short, and it looked pretty cool. You could tell that there was AI done, but it was based on his writing and stuff. And you know what happened to him? Within 4 months, he starts getting hired by production companies in India. You know what he's doing today? He supports his family financially. So there's another guy where now the barrier to entry has been lowered. The red tape has come down, and today the only barrier to creativity should be passion, not the checkbook. And so there's the other way of looking at it. Is it going to affect things? Yes. I think we're also entering an era where the world of production is going to be flipped upside down on its head. What do I mean by that? Pre-production, production, post, it's all melting into one. The way we look at production is shifting. It's changing. It's almost like we're taking the Pixar model and blending it into traditional filmmaking, where you can iterate and iterate and iterate on things until it's great. And that's kind of cool, because in this day, in the age where costs again are coming down, it's hard enough it is to get a set of eyeballs to look at your stuff. Yeah, it's harder than ever to get attention. In the days of things like verticals and micro dramas, which I believe is not something that should be taken lightly. Applying these types of tools just helps the process. But again, artist-driven AI, not AI-driven art. So
can you speak to that? Because I've seen you mention about artist-driven AI, and I understand that it's a human writing a script, and you can put storyboards in, and you can turn them into kind of previs, or as you say, kind of final pixel shots maybe of establishing in your production. But the model is obviously trained and based on other movies and other material. It's all
Not
based
necessarily.
on. Huh?
Not necessarily. Not in the Arcana Enterprise side, which is why which is why we're approved. We have contracts that were approved by certain major streamers. So basically, what happens? We figured out a way with our security protocols that if you have your data, you're also you're in a sandbox. In the enterprise environment of Arcana, you're in a sandbox. Your data doesn't mix out into the world, and we work with your data. The only AI portion that's really happening is if we're taking a board, or let's say we're taking a still, a frame or something, and we're bringing it in, and we want to change certain things in it, or if you want to bring a storyboard to life, like let's say it's like a space station. I don't know. There's the space station out and the Earth is here, or whatever it is. You could start to bring that together where you're doing a combination of prompting plus using that data. And then animating it to video, like going to video. That's where the AI really plays. Before that, yes, there's AI there. There's AI when you're colorizing everything and bringing it to life. But you're still just using the data from your movie. That's the way that our platform works in the enterprise environment. If you're in the D2C environment, it's a whole different ballgame. But
that's the thing, because the D2C obviously is because people listen to this and going, oh great, I can, it's like Vio or another one.
I'll be very honest. D2C on Arcana is not going to be around for much longer. We are becoming strictly an enterprise and B2B platform solution for these types of things. We just find that it's just better. But and we have other tools and stuff coming out. But I would say with regards to, I just want to understand, Phil, what did you mean about?
Well, no, I just think it's interesting that you say, it's artist-driven AI, and it's, yes, of course, you want to draw a storyboard image of a spaceship and things, but to fill out the AI of that, where is the brain? Where is the source material coming from? For example, Echo Hunter, which is this, pretty impressive short that you guys made, in the platform. Very cleverly impressive, of course, because it's mainly helmets and sci-fi and high.
Yeah, that's when the tech was early.
Into AI, But it's basically Blade Runner. You look at it and go, well, I can see all the touch points of Blade Runner and the imagery and the, and whether that's partly, genre and pop culture, fulfilling the prophecy of then writing a film like Echo Hunter that becomes like Blade Runner, if that makes sense. But surely the AI model, the brain of AI is drawing from other movies and materials and references to create that imagery.
But isn't that what the human brain does anyway? Like,
of course.
For example, Phil, if I asked you to draw a dragon right now, I told you, draw a dragon. Where are you pulling from? Have you ever seen a dragon in real life? No, probably not. I mean, if you have been, then
no, I haven't. Yeah, sorry.
If you have seen a dragon in real life, then I have a number of a doctor for you.
Yeah. Too many pills.
No, but you haven't, right? So where are you pulling from?
No, I understand, but I think there's a difference between imagination and pulling from. Don't get me wrong. I think AI is a tool to be used.
No, I know.
So this isn't about the ethics of AI argument, but I'm just interested to go. And then it comes into the copyright of it. Of I understand if it's sandbox and your own materials and things going in, but is it still a factor that anything created in AI? Technically can't be copyrighted because
it can. It needs, as according to copyright laws today. By the way, Arcana actually had a seat at the table for the AI Act, the European AI Act. We're very involved in that type of stuff because we take it very seriously. Because I take copyright seriously because I make a living from having copyright.
Yeah, you know what it's like to be copyrighted.
I know what it's like to have a library. I know what it's like. All those things.
And people stealing it, putting it on YouTube. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. You're on it.
Man, I have gone after.
You've got a cross on your head.
I'm currently a plaintiff in one of the largest copyright lawsuits in Canada.
Wow.
So it's public. I can talk about it. Okay. It's happening now. We're in a lawsuit with Bell Canada. And so look, the data, the data is data. In the sandbox, you're safe, but AI is, it's like a brain. It's like a brain, and but it's a brain that you're guiding, right? It's almost like if I come to an artist and I ask them, draw a dragon, but I need a dragon, like, they'll start they've pulled from whatever dragons they've seen in their life. And yeah, human imagination, AI imagination. I think once we get to the world of AGI, we're not going to know the difference anymore. And I think when we get to AGI is when we're all going to have a real problem. That's when I think things are going to be like way out of control.
Well, it's similar to when we're doing our pitch decks as well, isn't it, Phil? When, we'll go, what's the film like? And we'll go, right, it's a bit like Fincher film, or it's a bit like this. Right, I know, I'll take some images from these films to be like this. Of course, we're doing it all the time. We're taking that from our mind. And I think the area of compliance and sort of copyright is so interesting and so everyone's kind of scared of it. Everyone's worried about it. They're going, well, can't they just take my image, or can't they just replace me, or do this? And I agree with you, Jonathan. I think we don't want to replace actors or artists or storytellers, right? Why would we? This is what we love about doing what we do. But how do we control that? And how are you in Arcana, I suppose, doing that to the best of your ability to know that in that sandbox, it can't be stolen or it can't be taken from somewhere else, I suppose.
We have very strict security protocols. That's why we're in bed with some of the majors. Like we and those processes, I'm telling you, like when we were getting approved by certain streamers and stuff, those are 5-6 month processes. They get Arcana was so early to what we were doing that the studios and the streamers didn't even understand how to evaluate us yet. So we had to go, they looked at us and they had to come back to us a month later and be like, okay, now we've assembled the team of some of them of 40 people, some of them of 50 people. Now it's time to look under the hood. So we took a lot of time explaining things and showing them stuff and them trying to break it and break our security protocols, break the firewall, break all of that stuff.
Wow.
Check for the data, so we take that really seriously. We spend a lot of money on that. And that's why for me, the D2C side, I think people could do whatever they want and it's wonderful. I'm not interested in the memes where people make cats going to the grocery store and shopping. It's not something that interests me.
Yeah.
What interests me is how we can empower creatives more. What interests me is how creatives can think big again. What interests me is doing something where we can empower a director, a writer, a producer, an actor, someone to make something where they don't have to go and ask permission from the studios to get budgets and things like that, where they can start to work on stuff and they don't have to make a rip reel to say this is what it will be like. It's kind of like what you mentioned, Giles. This is like, now you can make something say this is what it is, what it will be. And in a world today where it's so much harder to get financing, I just feel like those types of tools and having that at your fingertips just gives you much more of an edge and just gets your chances of getting your stuff greenlit.
I think that's really fascinating and refreshing to hear, as I said earlier, because I think there is a lot of fear mongering about AI and how it's coming to take over everything. So it's actually really nice to hear from someone that is at the coalface, literally, of this, talking about using it as a tool and not as, hey, you can make your whole movie in AI and get distribution and release your movie. And you see and hear that a lot. It's sort of like the Silicon Valley tech bro demo reel that's got 17,000 visual effect artists behind it. But no, we generated it with a few prompts.
It's such and by the way, we're not from Silicon Valley, right?
No, we're filmmakers.
No. What I'm saying is you get those kind of things. And
what's
really
totally
interesting is to hear you say that, look, we're looking to enhance or enable rather than replace, essentially.
That's exactly what it is. I have no intention of that. And what's funny is those companies in Silicon Valley, they've been trying to break into Hollywood for a while now.
Yeah.
And to be honest, there's us and a couple other companies standing in that way, being the bridge. We are actually, I look at us as the bridge between the models, between the LLMs and production. And we're the people in the middle. And we show you how to do this responsibly and safely. The Silicon Valley AI companies, they don't care much about storytelling and copyright and IP like we do. They don't. Again, I'm not trying to be on a high horse. It's the last thing I'm going to be. I'm not but I truly believe that what we're doing is working towards saving and preserving the industry, saving and preserving creativity, and because the truth is, this is a powerful tool. We don't know the limits of it yet.
Yep.
And we might as well wrap our heads around it and not do what Hollywood historically does. We're not even fully on board with all the ways of people consuming it. I mean, think about it. A long time ago, Hollywood, we dictated when and how people got entertained.
Yes,
right. We had that ego. We were able to have that ego and say, you want to watch a movie? You better buy a ticket and come at this time. You want to catch the television series? You better make sure you've peed and you have your snacks
and you're ready.
Sitting on the couch at Sunday night at 8:00.
It's true.
And you're ready to watch the last season of The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Right? No commercial break. No, today, that's different. Right?
Yeah.
With the creator economy, with microdramas, obviously film, television, how people are consuming, and they're consuming with these things,
Fun.
And so what we have to adapt to meet the audience where they're at to a certain degree. I'm not saying dumbing down content. I'm saying meet them to where they at, to where they can at least get eyeballs and parlay that. Once you have that on, parlay that into other things. I think where AI also helps is with the development of IP, we can be faster. We can be quicker. I'll give you a case in point. The Halo television series.
Yeah.
Cool series. When it came out, who the hell was still playing Halo? Why do we have to take this long?
Did take a while.
You should strike while the iron is hot.
Yes, you should.
And with these types of tools, you can go faster. You can make proofs of concept. You can do your own form of A/B testing. You're kind of taking the tech world and the Hollywood world and mixing it together. And so, and that needs to be done responsibly. And it needs to it'll only be done by people like us.
Yes, I love that you're saying it needs to be done responsibly. And I think what's great as well is that we as artists and the actors and the creators around it, they're the ones who are saying, well, hang on a minute, what about me? I don't want you using, and like you say, anyone else using my image, and anyone else in the sort of tech world in Silicon Valley don't give a shit. They don't care if they're using Brad Pitt's image for another. They don't care if they're making money or they're moving forward with it. But it's the people in the industry that are making the shouts and they're making their voices heard, which is why they're coming at you, or we're coming at you with saying, well, come on, aren't you just, helping this move forward? The question I wanted to ask you there on is, in terms of, you're saying, well, everyone can do this now, or lots of people can learn to do this, or go on there and put their platforms and make it easier to make films. Now, one good thing about this industry sometimes, even though now it's easier and like you held up your phone before and we can shoot on things like our phones, and the barrier to entry is much smaller. But also, we also want the quality to stay high. And the reason why it does or tries to stay that way is, as we all know, cream does rise to the top. And if you're in this industry, you're doing well, you do rise up. If we're making it easier, does that not say, well, anyone and their dog can go and do this? What's your answer to that in terms of saying, well, no, there's another side to that? Because we just don't want everyone doing this.
There was a guy. I understand what you're asking, and I appreciate that question. It's an excellent question. There is this guy. He made this music video with AI that it took him like 3 days to make, and he's a designer that works with us now. And he made this video that was a rap battle video. It was insane. Like, it was an insane thing where he was making a rap battle of where McDonald's was like shitting on Popeye's chicken. It was like and it had like the chickens dancing.
Right.
And it took the guy 3 days to make it.
Wow.
And he corrected something when my co-founder and I were having a conversation with him. We're like, dude, you made that in 3 days. That's crazy. How did you do that? He goes, no, I didn't. He goes, I made that in 20 years plus 3 days.
There you go.
You know why? Because that guy is an artist. That guy is a creator. That guy understands the theory behind it. He's been pressing buttons and drawing things for the last 20 years, and that's what he does. Same thing with filmmaking. The reason why Arcana is in a bunch of film schools across the country is because the first thing we say in the curriculum is, you need to learn all of film theory. You need to understand how all of this operates and works. Otherwise, what are you making? What are you doing? You need to understand story. I have a curriculum right over there. The first 8 weeks of that curriculum is only film theory before you even touch anything, And so, yes, will people have access though to tools and do stuff? Of course, but there's going to be a lot more AI slop out there. But like you said, Giles, the cream rises to the top. And a storyteller is a storyteller. And if you're good at it, you will be noticed. Like, you still need those skills. I don't care how much or how little AI you apply to a crappy script or to a crappy, it's just going to be crap.
Yeah.
So it's got to be, you got to be good.
Oh, it's an excellent answer to an excellent question. I think you'll find. But it's a very famous Paul McCartney quote as well, and it was, I think he was drawing something that was on the sidewalk, and someone saw it. He gave it to someone, and someone said, "Oh, can I have one?" And he went, "Yeah, 20 grand." And they went, "Why? You just gave that one for free." And he went, no, it's 20 years of experience. It's half 60 years of my life of drawing things and my world in my head. And it's the same thing. You pay for that. So I totally agree with that sentiment. It's a really good answer. Yeah, absolutely true. Interesting. Let's talk about, also at Arcana Labs as well. You do the educational side. Before we get onto your filmmaking, which I'd love to do. You do the courses led by VFX pros as well to help tie in with the AI. And you've got storytellers collaborating with AI experts about how you can balance the two. Tell us more about that and what people can sort of expect from it.
Sure. Yeah. So the way the Academy started was this just comes to us responding to the fact that we were so early. So when we were trying to show people these things, they really had no idea what we were talking about. And it was really hard to get people on board. And so what we did was we need to educate people, but we're a startup. So how do we educate? I mean, it costs us a lot of money to educate people right now. So let's make an academy. Let's make an academy. Let's bring in a bunch of artists from different verticals. We have a photographer who's now, who still shoots. He's one of the biggest wedding photographers in the world. He uses the tools and he still goes and shoots weddings all the time.
It just makes up. So as we say, just makes up fake brides and grooms. Here we go. Just drop these.
By the way, you know what he realized? He's like, if you ever get a divorce, part of I could switch it all out.
You have to pay for another wedding. It's just
exactly. Don't even worry about it.
Drop them in place.
Exactly. Yeah. And so we built the academy, and then piggybacking off of that, we started to be contacted by some schools.
Okay.
Some like trade school, like film schools, actual film schools and universities, and then now middle and high school. Because in teachers and I guess faculty or principal, they're starting to realize, wow, our students are using these things, but they don't know what they're doing, and they're going to be using them anyway. We might as well train them. And so one of the schools that we're going into is in Kentucky, and it's a really cool new kind of school program that it's state led, and these new facilities that they're building, they're like middle and high schools, and it's awesome. It's all based upon leadership, and like when you see the infrastructure that they're building there, it's unbelievable. Like, they have full medical facilities of like AI robots in MedBed where you can learn about if you want to be on like the medical track. There's a media and arts track. There's a marketing and advertising track. And again, it's all about leadership. And we showed them with curriculum. We thought of this idea, like, how cool would it be if high school students can start their own internal advertising agency? Because with the tools, you can make commercials, you can make product, you can help design products, you can help. And then imagine if those kids go to all the mom and pop shops around their city in these little towns and offer their services to them. Otherwise these mom and pop shops wouldn't have good advertising because they can't afford it, and now you're teaching the kids leadership. They're using the tools, how to apply them in a right way that leads to potentially a career. And so that's the kind of ways that it's being used now in the educational system. I think the way we look at education is changing. I think the days of just regurgitating information back, we know that that's not the way. People need to learn how to think and be given challenges and stuff like that. It took a while. Also, same thing. Hey, I was like at some campuses I'd walk on and I was like the devil incarnate to people. All of a sudden coming in with the age. Other ones welcomed me with a red carpet.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of ups and downs. But at the end of the day, when we show what it is that we're doing and we speak about it the way that we speak about it, and the proof is in the pudding, obviously, then people started to really wrap their heads around it. And I'm happy to report that Arcana is already in multiple schools, but I think by August, September, we'll be in over a dozen across the country.
That's impressive. Yeah. Wow.
This episode is brought to you by Prime. What if you had one more chance with the one that got away?
Sam, you came home.
Based on the best-selling novel from Carly Fortune. Every Year After follows childhood friends Sam and Percy as they reunite in the dreamy, nostalgic lakeside town of Barry's Bay.
Love can be hard to find. So if you're lucky enough to find that person, never let go.
A second chance at first love. Every Year After, now streaming only on Prime.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
Marvel Television's Wonder Man, an 8-episode series, now streaming on Disney+.
A superhero remake, not exactly what we'd expect from an Oscar-winning director.
Action! Simon Williams, audition for Wonder Man.
I'm gonna need you to sign this, assuming you don't have superpowers.
I'll never work again if anyone found out.
My lips are sealed.
Marvel Television's Wonder Man. All 8 episodes now streaming, only on Disney+.
That educational side of it's really interesting because, again, it's sort of the distinction between AI slop of, Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise fighting for 3 minutes and, which, you watch 5 seconds of it, then it's boring.
Yes.
It's so boring.
Versus the traditional, tools and skills of actually filmmaking and writing and what a shot means. I think earlier on, Jonathan, when I said I find some AI video generation platform frustrating is because I want to be able to control when the dolly moves for a certain reason.
Yes.
And then when it won't do it for a certain reason, I think, why are we dollying in? Call me a dinosaur of how we want to direct things, but I still think that the shot means something for emotion and telling stories. So
of course,
when you get to that point, and if you're telling me your platform can do it, I'm going to have a good go. But when you get to that point where you can really dictate those kinds of moves, then it becomes very interesting to me from a video perspective.
There are tools inside of Arcana now where you can basically with stills set up angles and create a storyboard of real stills. So instead of just a sketched out storyboard, and then from there you could start to animate that based on your movements. But again, I believe in blend. So if you're shooting, shoot that, And it's funny. It's kind of like a flip. It was all the most expensive things were like the big Marvel set pieces, like the full VFX of the ship coming out and all that stuff. That's cheaper to do now. What's expensive to do and work on with AI is like a couple sitting down at a table and having a conversation. That's what's become expensive. But I wouldn't even ever apply AI to something like that. I'm looking at things. But what's interesting is imagine you shoot and now you're in the editing room. And what for me, the most famous last words that of a conversation I always have with directors is when they come to me and said, "Hey, can we please allocate the reshoot budget to production?" I'm like, "Are you sure you want to do that?"
I've done that.
And they're like, No. I never reshoot. I always get it. And I'm like, "Are you sure?" And they're like, "Okay." And we do it, and then we're in the editing room, and it turns out on the one day we were at this like location that's like impossible to get back, we missed something important.
Yeah.
And you need to do a pickup. And we can't get the location back. But with the tools, now you can take your data and you can build a pickup. That for me, that's so useful because knowing that you have that's got your back allows for creative risk. And creative risk is what's missing in the movie business today. Creative risk and the type of stuff that we make. I mean, we are boxed in. Look, it's all the same stuff out there. There's some great movies and stuff that have been coming, but for the most part, we're boxed into like these types of genres, these types of stuff, because this is what works, this is what sells. But look, the 90s to the early 2000s was like some of the greatest time for independent cinema, and some of the coolest movies that came out because we were taking creative risk, and we knew where the revenues were going to come from. But now it's like, we don't have time for reshoot. We don't have time for this. We can't do that. Stick into this box. This is what it works. And knowing that you're covered, I just think is going to help expand creativity.
I love that, Jonathan. It's so interesting because there's a Samadiva's the latest film I just shot at New Bayana Studios, and we don't have enough exteriors of the house. And Demo, who you know very well, keeps saying to me, put in another exterior. And I'm like, Demo, I don't have one. And now I'm going, maybe we do.
We make one.
Like, it's kind of a bit, because it's not like there's no actors in it. The house has been repainted. They've put a new front on it. It's just that big American house.
Was it the one we used with Megan for the movie we did?
Megan Fox. Exactly the same house.
Yeah,
same house.
I know that house.
And it's been
no longer blue, wasn't it?
It's no longer blue. It was red and orange for a while when they did a Frida Pinto thing just before ours, so we had to repaint
God, give me
the
a
whole
picture of the house. I'll make you an establishment. You want an establishment?
I do. I need an establishment night of
this
it. I
would be
do.
a great use case.
By the way, this
Giles.
isn't.
I want to see it.
This is a perfect use case.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
You know?
It's for the film
It's
at the
funny
studio as well, so it can work.
It's interesting you say about using pickups, because once I've shot things in virtual production, which still feels like a more physical way of doing what you're saying, is that LiDAR scanning a location. Then when you're in VP, you can do those pickups and, you know, that line pickup with the actors and stuff. It's like it's another paintbrush, you know, in the box, in the way of making film. Can I ask, and maybe there isn't a connection yet, so not to put you on the spot, but there seems to be kind of like these silos of like this new way of making film, combining physical production and traditional storytelling with AI tools to bring budgets down or to enable, a bigger creative vision, for example. And then there's still this kind of dinosaur-like distribution way of releasing and seeing film. So where does one help the other, essentially? You know, you're saying that we're able to take more creative risks because we can maybe show our vision earlier. But does that help us in terms of the distribution of it? I mean, like, you've made movies that have grossed, what, 2 billion? Something
more.
I'm not even exaggerating.
Yeah.
So
2.5.
as someone that knows that world, so someone who knows that world, like, how do they talk to each other? How do we stop them being these siloed things of like, this is an AI slot movie that's on YouTube that isn't really a career for as a filmmaker, particularly? Not everyone's Mr. Beast, you know?
Yeah.
And how do we use it to access this more traditional way of showing film? Does that
look,
is that a question?
Yeah, it does. I get where you were getting with that. Look, you still need to have stuff that's good and that you think, and that a distributor would think would be appealing to the masses. The beauty is, when I mean more creative risk, at least now at this point, the cost has been lowered enough that the distributor is saying, okay, instead of paying $2 million for it for the US, they can pay $800,000 or $700,000 for it. And now they can understand, like, okay, this is not something we would normally do, but we could take a little bit of a chance on this. This is interesting, as opposed to saying this is what it was, but it costs this much, so we need to recoup this much. You know, so that's what I mean by like creative risk. And then so you could, and then creative risk is like just thinking outside the box again. You know, of the type of cool stuff we want to try. It still has to be good. Whoever is taking that creative risk still needs to have their finger on the pulse and be a good filmmaker at the end of the day, right? Because that's what counts, you know, or a good writer, and, you know, all those pieces together. But being able to just lower the cost so that the distributor can still get the movie, still put P&A behind it. Now, maybe we're ushering in an era of self-distribution. I do think creator economy stuff is very interesting. If you were to make short films and things like that can go out there, and if they go viral, that's ready proof that, you know, maybe there should be a feature version of this. Maybe there should be a series of this. Maybe I should make more episodes of this short. I could turn it into an episodic thing. Because if you look at the revenue in creator economy, it's actually double the size of Hollywood. Creator economy is about a $350 billion a year industry. Hollywood's like 150, 160 or something like $1 billion a year. So there's something going on there. So how do we marry the two, right? How do we marry the two? And you see like some of the studios now are starting to distribute vertical content and microdramas on TikTok.
Yep, yeah.
Getting that stuff out. So they're already merging the two. I've been talking about merging the two for years. And also understand that there's a paradigm shift. Because look, I'm saying what I'm saying. But if I was able, I'm telling you right now, I swear to God, if I was able to press a button today and make the whole internet disappear and go back to analog, I would press that button. If I want to go to the movies, I would press it. I would press it so fast because then we're back into that place of the world. You know what I felt like was the greatest time where we were technologically wise? I feel like 1999, 1998. If technology has plateaued like right there,
yes,
I think
it's really good.
The arts would be in a much better place.
Yes.
I think we as human beings with our emotional connections and things would be in a much better place. Mental health would be in a much better place. We would just be in a better place, you know?
We'd still have a big collection of DVDs. Be great.
Yeah.
We'd know the route to market.
Exactly. And there would be a market for that.
Yes.
There would still be a DVD section in Best Buy.
Yeah, there'd still be a Blockbuster.
Yeah, there would still be a Blockbuster where you can go and have these things. Now, are all of those things dead forever? Yes. But the concept, the essence of it, is that dead forever? I don't know. Maybe we just change how it is. Maybe a cinema today has to be more of an experience. You know, where there can be like a real like dinner party situation where you're sitting and enjoying a thing and there's a themed thing going on and it's more of a real experience. And that's the shared experience now. You know, look, I still think people go to the movies. I mean, that movie Hail Mary, Ryan Gosling, movie, that's not based on any former IP. I think it's just an original one-off film. It's just really good.
Based on the novel, yeah.
I just want to say this, and this is kind of outside of what we're talking about. What I haven't seen it yet, and I can't wait to see it, but I heard that it's a movie that has hope. Finally.
It's a beautiful
movie. A freaking movie with hope.
Yes.
As opposed to all this doom and gloom and dread, for God's sakes. Like, come on.
Well, look, I'm the guy that makes family movies, so I'm all about hope and optimism.
Exactly. By the way, Phil, we need more of that. We need, please give us more, because I mean, look what's going on out there. Like, we've got enough of the dread, you know?
Yeah, it's very true. Well, on that, and on the future of sort of cinema, I really like that event cinema. I do feel like it's the thing. Like, if I knew that I had the chance of Chris Pine turning up or Ryan Reynolds to my IMAX, he could just drop in and it's like a potluck, lucky dip. But if you knew that he could, and then wherever he was got beamed onto the screen, he went, hello, enjoy the movie, you'd suddenly feel part of it so much more. And I think it is a way forward. I do like the idea of dinner theatre. We're doing it for our next film Sessions, which is getting released in the summer. We're doing an event cinema around the UK to sell it that way. We're doing a big Q&A, big like stand-up comedy at the same time, because our lead is a stand-up comedian and he's big in the UK. Like, why not do that? Why not try and make a difference? What do you think forward? You know, you've got John Rambo, obviously you've just finished filming it, but it will be coming out at some point in the next, year. What is the plan there? You going traditional?
That's a major theatrical. And I'll tell you something. By the way, you use AI when you use AI. Rambo, the budget of Rambo is in a different league, right? That we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
99% of that movie is in camera.
Amazing.
Like, we shot that. And why? It's John Rambo.
It's John Rambo. You have to.
That's what people are going to expect. You have to deliver it that way. Yeah. That's why it took us so long to make it and develop it and do it. We're like, who's the guy? And then Jalmari Helander came around and we're like, okay, this is the guy. If you saw Sisu 1 and Sisu 2, you're like, this is the guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's incredible. Amazing. And so we just wrapped, and we shot. I mean, the action is the action. there is nothing like practical. I got an AI platform, and I'm going to tell you, there is nothing like practical. As a filmmaker, as a producer, practical. Your eyes love it. When you're seeing real helicopters blow up and fall out of the sky, and like the action that I love being an action, movie maker, like that was, and feeling the heat, like we're on set and you feel the heat of the explosions.
Yes, honestly, it's great, isn't it?
Yes. And I will, and so that's all practical because that's what the movie needed. Like, that's not a movie where you do big visual effects for. So that means it's not a movie you use big eye for. And I recognize that. Like, I'm not precious about, there's the filmmaker in me, and then there's the guy who's got Arcana. I'm not precious about, how do what works for your film. But yeah, the plan is for sure. Look, Lionsgate's releasing it. They did a negative pickup for the world for it. And they are going to release, I'm sure they're going to release theatrically.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine so. It's going to be so big and so exciting and so epic. And, and I know Stallone's back involved as well, which is so lovely.
Oh, yeah.
I think, for the
Wasn't that a cool video? Did you guys see that video?
Yeah. Where he just,
cool.
It's really cool. Yeah, Yarev was, there when it happened. So I was with Yarev when it happened. So it's really nice, those little things. And just the whole big circle of life coming back for that. What is it you look for now, just to take it away from Arcana for a moment, in terms of films that you're making and films that you're wanting and looking for? Because you've got a huge range at Millennium, and what you guys have done is quite incredible over the last 15 years, if not longer, and you as president there now, in terms of the films you make and what you've achieved over that time. What is it that's driving you forward and going, hey, what else can we do? John Rambo's great. I know people say, oh, it's just another sequel or it's another thing, but you're not. You're rebooting it from the ground up. You're making it fresh. What is it you look for now in terms of how do we find fresh things?
Yeah, that's what we're looking for, like high concept, fresh things. We just picked up a couple scripts right now, a couple genre pieces that I think are really, really cool, that have cool twists in them. Okay. They're not like run of the mill stuff that we can also shoot for, like non-franchise, non-IP stuff, just the way the market is, stuff that we could shoot for a price, that you can sell with like one name or two names. We have a sci-fi that we just picked up, like a really cool sci-fi picture that's kind of like about this like humanoid robot and this humanoid, and this couple's on a space station. It becomes like this like love triangle thing. It gets all screwed up and in space. That could be a cool title, Screwed Up in Space.
Screwed Up in Space. It's great.
Screwed Up in Space. It's the sequel to Gravity.
And it's just not Robert Downey Jr. It was George Clooney, wasn't it? Just floating. It's just him.
Where he shows up and goes, hey,
kid. He's there at the window. He's still knocking.
You can imagine you're in space. Someone's like, hey man, let me in.
Yeah, let me in. You're like, oh,
kind of like the scene of The Lost Boys, when David Arquette shows up at the window.
Yeah. Hey, it's me. Screwed in space. Yeah, I like it.
But yeah, and we're looking for all kinds of stuff.
Okay,
stuff that we think we can easily package, put together, shoot most of the time in Bulgaria at the studio.
Yeah,
where the team rallies around. But there's a couple. We have a probably another like Aaron Eckhart movie that we're going to be doing soon, and things like that.
Great. That's so exciting and so wonderful with what you're doing, everything you're achieving. I suppose as for someone starting out then, looking back and the change of things that have happened from when you first started to now, would you say them going to Arcana or trying to what's the way forward for someone now who's really trying to go, okay, well, this sounds great, but how do I do it? What do I do now to even get attention of someone?
As what? As like someone who's trying to make something?
Filmmaker, yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. They can, if they want to get onto Arcana, if they have anything that they made, they can always send it to us, show it to us. And we can look at it for both, right? Millennium, Arcana, Millennium, or how Arcana can help you enhance your Millennium movie potentially, or another film. But yeah, I'm pretty accessible. I'm a pretty accessible guy. So if someone ever wants to reach out to the team, we're always around. We want to hear pitches. We want to hear stuff. We're looking for content. We're looking for stuff all the time.
That's great. And thank you for that. But I meant in terms of general as well. It's great that you've said that.
Oh, in general? Just make shit.
Yeah.
No, today, because people should just make stuff. Like today, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't need... my wife right now is getting ready to shoot a short that she's directing. She's writing. I'm helping her make it.
Brilliant.
I'm not financing it or anything like that. Like we're doing it guerrillas, like we're doing it.
Yeah, I'm not giving you any money. Get on with it. Yeah, you've got a phone.
No, and we're doing it together, and she's directing it. We're shooting 3 days in LA. We are using some AI stuff in it and VFX stuff to show like you can really raise a production value even on a short. But it's a raunchy, hilarious comedy. She wrote it. She called in all of her favors, and you should just be doing stuff like that. If you've got the bug to tell stories and you've got the virus or whatever, you don't have a choice, you know? If we are able to do, I'm sure if all of us here on this podcast right now, we're able to do other things in life, because Lord knows this is not an easy industry. People see it from the outside and they think of the red carpets and all that stuff. And it's like, what is that? 0.5% of the whole,
Be lucky.
the whole thing.
Yeah. We're very real on this podcast about that. We're very real.
Yeah, exactly. Like we just don't know. Like, I mean, I would, but I can't. Like I've tried. I can't. So if you're a storyteller, then be telling stories. You can use, there's so many avenues today with social media to get your stuff out there and get noticed, you know?
Yeah, I love it.
This summer, soccer is here, and so are the watch parties. And Uber Eats has your game day essentials covered with 30% off orders from Aldi, Kroger, and Dollar General. Everything you need to keep your crowd happy, delivered straight to your door. Chips, dips, fresh ingredients, and more. Order in so you can lock in for the games. 30% off your grocery order, only on Uber Eats for a limited time.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries. This episode is brought to you by Perfect Bistro Cat Food. Hey guys, today I'm interviewing my cat about his perfect bistro food. Percy, you seem to be a big Perfect Bistro fan. Care to comment? Totally. What do you like about it? You love the high-quality ingredients? And the delicious flavors, of course. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Listen to Percy, guys. Visit perfectbistro.com to try it for your cat.
I love it. Listen, thank you so much for coming on and chatting to us, and especially about Arcana as well. And so good that obviously people can go to the website. We'll put a link into the show notes as well, so people can go check it out. But brilliant. Jonathan Younger, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Giles. It was great to see you again. Phil, it was great meeting you, man. We should all, keep talking. I'm around. If you guys ever need anything, please don't hesitate.
Love that. Nice all one. Right. All right, you take care. Have a great day, and good luck to your wife with the film. All the best.
Yeah, thanks.
Cheers, mate. Bye. Wow. There we have it. That was over an hour of your life on AI, what is happening in this industry, and Arcana Labs, which is, something interesting, enterprise-grade ecosystem, fully integrated, vetted by major streaming platforms, all this stuff. How are we feeling about it now, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, listening to that? Has your view changed? Has your thought process on what you can do as a filmmaker changed? No one is trying to take your jobs necessarily. I think there are people out there that are trying to do that. But Arcana Labs feels different. And I think, in my opinion, that Jonathan has really defended all the questions of what Phil came in to sort of grill him on. How do you feel now, Phil, after that?
Tail is between legs. No, look, I mean, I've used AI for a long time for pitching materials and making mood boards and all this kind of stuff. Like whatever tool we can as filmmakers use to communicate a vision, I am all for it. Okay. I realized going into this conversation, I may have been drinking the anti-AI Kool-Aid a bit, because look, we're all fearful of it. It's big swings and big changes are happening. And And I, as a filmmaker, but also as a person, is like, I'd rather be on and trying to be slightly ahead of wave than being behind it. And, so this conversation made me, and, we had the conversation a week or so ago. And it really made me think about what I thought about AI and what was possible. Because as I said in the conversation, the last time I used AI Gen Video, it just wasn't up to scratch. Like, it wasn't good. And what was refreshing was to hear him talk about using AI as another tool in the toolbox, They found it really interesting about using it for cutaways and establishing shots, these kind of things that take time and money that maybe AI can do for us. And great, if it improves the scale and size of the film, especially on lower budgets, then brilliant. It's another tool for us to use. And I basically thought, you know what, I can't have an informed opinion about this thing without trying it. So I made like a sizzle trailer. I've got a project with a wonderful writer called Jeremy Lawson, and we've got a film called Starlight. And it was always an interesting hybrid between sci-fi and romance. And when I went around with it, people didn't quite get it. Like, it's a romance, but it's like Forever Young, but there's a robot. And I always love the tone of it. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to spend a couple of days and make a sizzle and really put it through his paces. And I was shocked with the results. I was really shocked. Now, is it final pixel? Am I now an AI filmmaker and I want to make AI movies? Absolutely not, right? Absolutely not. But is it a tool we can use to like make sizzle reels, make pitch materials, to show a concept or a difficult vision for something or a set piece? Absolutely. Like, it's really, really powerful. And it, and I've had some flack for it, I have to say.
Did you? You got more flack than you thought you might.
Look, anytime you say you're using AI, people just come out and post various, boring AI GIFs on your Instagram. And I'm like, well, I'm interested in debate. I'm interested in the conversation about what AI can do for us. And in terms of the scissor reel thing, like, I've cut loads of scissor reels for projects, and you're ripping material from other films anyway.
You're taking it from other films. Yeah. Absolutely. And listen, and on your platform, it's called Sizzle.io, by the way. As Phil has mentioned there, he tried this.
Sizzlemaker.io. Sorry, that
Sizzlemaker.
Like I'm not here to plug, but it's an interesting,
There will be a link in the show notes, Phil. I'm doing that for you.
Okay,
of course I am.
Yeah.
Sizzlemaker.io. And interestingly, on that, because you enjoyed doing it and it was a thing, you've now done it again, and I loved what it could do. There was one that was on spiders, I think Spider
Island, yeah.
And if someone had said to me, hey, here's what's going to happen, this is a film with a spider in the corner and this jumps out, and I'd have gone, okay, and I've got to use my mind, and to try and find clips for that, to make a sizzle, to make a director's sizzle is really hard. And I watched the version you'd made and I went, that film now looks incredible. I can see it. And if I was an investor at that point, I'd have gone, yeah, I'll give you, what do you need? Let's talk. And I think that is where the power of AI is. It's not taking jobs necessarily, because me and you have to go and sift through YouTube and try and find other people's films to cobble our film together. And suddenly you got a platform here that goes, oh my gosh, you can actually create something that looks like your vision. You're still directing it. You're still saying what the thing is you want. And I think you've done brilliantly with Sizzlemaker there to create that. And I can't wait to use it.
Thank you, mate. I mean, again, it's sort of an unexpected sort of side hustle, really. I just, when I made those two, when I made the first one, then I got commissioned to make the second one. And then suddenly, there was people messaging from everywhere, producers, sales agents, filmmakers going, please, can you help me make mine? So I was like, well, why not? And it's been a really lovely process to kind of get into filmmakers' brains and work with directors to kind of help them, use the vision. I mean, like, it's almost like 90% of the job is just talking to filmmakers and trying to find images and stuff. And then the AI bit is just, the function to make the rushes to cut the thing, but you're still using all the traditional tools of storytelling and trailer structure and writing and marketing and all this stuff in order to create it. So it's kind of been fun, and as I say, I've had quite a few commissions now to make them. But I stress that, like, I'm not here to make AI films. I'm not an AI filmmaker. Like, absolutely not. Like, no,
No,
and
you
it's
actually
happened.
not.
Some people have said, like, we're making an AI feature film. Can you come and help us? And I've said, no. Like, you've got to find your own moral line, about where it stops and where it ends.
Yes.
And for me, it's like, if it's for pitch materials, then awesome. It's a great tool. I've yet to use it as, like, what we were talking about in the pod about using it as an establishing shot or using it as this, but I'm certainly going to test it. I'm certainly going to try stuff. So,
well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with me for it. Look, where it's useful is, as filmmakers, we've got to get that time with the actors. We can't be spending time on establishing shots because it's time and money when you could be getting reactions with the cast. You can go back and get those establishers. Now, sometimes you actually physically can't. So that's where somewhere like Arcana comes in, because you go, well, actually, you can go get me a side shot of the house here. I've given you the assets and the AI can build that and give me that shot, or it can do a tracking shot across the whole house. So suddenly you're saving time and effort in terms of your filmmaking ability, especially when you get into the edit and you're like, oh God, I haven't got that. I need that. And I think this can only help us as filmmakers. To be honest, it's here. It's here. We have to approach it in the right way. We have to embrace it. We just have to do it, as far as we're concerned and what we're doing, in the right way. And as long as we're not trying to take people's jobs, and as long as we're not going, hey, I'm just making all this in AI, we're still working with the crews we're working with before. For independent filmmakers, this is like someone saying, opening up VFX for the first time. You'd never seen it before and going, oh my God, I was just green screen and all this, and going from black and white to color. It really is. And we do have to open our eyes and say, how can I use this correctly and in the right way, and in this age, to hold on to IPs and to hold on to the artists that are creating this sort of this world. We're not, and again, this conversation wasn't about replacing artists with a magic button. This is not what this is. But what I quite liked from this chat was that at the end of it, you were certainly going, oh, and that's the conversation, and that's where it's going, and we have to embrace it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it's another, I say, brush in the toolkit. It's kind of that's how I'm seeing it. And then look, there's always going to be AI slop. There's always going to be people make these short films that, hey, great. I'm like, look, that's all for you. Fine, that's fine. But what I liked about the conversation with Jonathan was his emphasis on education and the idea that, like, look, AI. The reason why this AI slop is because, and you can now I've done it. You can see how it works, because, like, you can just type a prompt in and go, make me a action scene that's 15 seconds long, go, and it'll make shots for you, and it doesn't work, and it's crap, and they don't mash together. There's no directing involved, and that's how you get the mess. But if you really craft it and spend the time directing shots and being the director, in inverted commas, when you're prompting, then you're using the traditional filmmaking techniques, of storytelling, and the platforms are the way of getting those rushes, essentially, for these kinds of things. So, so it's been a very interesting few weeks for me personally. I'm still processing. I'm
not surprised.
But, and then you look at House of David, really interesting how that's like a hybrid model that's using there's a company called Wonder Project that's doing some amazing stuff with hybrid AI tech. It's sort of removing green screen, removing virtual production, using real actors, using crews, using everything, but having like a digital art department to create the stuff. Have a look at, if you're interested, some of their stuff they're doing, because, and we're talking, this is a big Amazon show that the filmmakers said, look, we couldn't make this show. The show just wouldn't have happened if we had AI. It's too expensive. So the argument that this is taking all these jobs is like, well, no, it's flexing them in a different way because that project wouldn't exist without it. So look, and jobs will change, jobs will go. This is the way that we decide as filmmakers how we use it and how we harness it. But I think this black and white mentality for me of AI hate, AI love is too binary. It's too much of a interesting, difficult, and nuanced conversation to have. And as I say, I'd rather be a filmmaker that's informed than just sort of drinking the AI slot brigade.
That's true. And look, like you say, we know now the model for independent filmmakers and how they were made 10 years ago. It's changed. It's broken. It's not there. The MGs are smaller. The money we're getting to make these films that you would make for 5 million before, you're now making for 1.
Yeah.
So you have to, as a filmmaker, go, okay, well, how do I make this work and still look good? And you have to think about the tools. And if that's a sizzle reel at the beginning, or if that's enhancement to your film, if you've got VFX in there, how are you going to do that? And really, it's just opening your eyes and ears and going, how can we help us as filmmakers do this? And again, we're not advocating for taking anyone's jobs. AI going to do this. I don't want to see an AI film. I'm not interested.
No, I mean,
there might be a group of kids who come through like 3D or something else similar. Some K-pop. It becomes the new thing for a while, but then it fades. But VFX took out Jurassic Park's a perfect example of that. They were making the models beforehand, and obviously they still use a mix of the two. But the VFX came in and went, we can actually do this. It's kind of similar here, right? It is here. We've just got to use it in the right way. And as long as we all do that and work together as a team, it's going to happen and it's going to work for all of us, right? And I think Jonathan here has proven that he doesn't want that either. He doesn't want to take over. He just wants to help and enhance and help filmmakers because they can't afford to make films otherwise. And we still want to make films, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Actually, after a week of doing a sizzle for a producer, I was straight up to Scotland shooting with a 11-year-old kid in the woods, in the weather, in the rain. I was like lugging gear into a cave. I was like, okay, we're back to filmmaking, everyone.
Yes, back to practically doing it.
Absolutely.
And it is. But that's the mix. And you're getting so good at what you're doing in both realms. It's like, okay, and you'll find your own way to there'll be a moment.
I think there is an argument about some of the hybrid stuff. Absolutely. And that's something I'm keen to explore. And it's funny that I've had some of the big AI tech companies reach out to me and be complimentary of the sizzles and stuff they're making, and they're like, "How are you doing this stuff?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm just a filmmaker using the same tools. I'm just coming at it with experience instead of some kid in a room that's making Tom Cruise punch things."
That's the difference.
And that's the difference.
That is the difference.
The thing that makes it good is the knowledge of how to make a film.
How to move the camera, how to get emotions from things. And that's the difference. Because someone might do this, and like say, kid in a room, some tech guy might go, I'm going to make a film, I'm going to put this through. But they don't understand camera move and why a lens is a lens for that particular reason and what that story is trying to tell. And us as filmmakers do, because that's our job and what we've learned throughout this whole time. So let's not be scared of it. Let's approach it. Go look at Arcana Labs. Check it out for yourself. Work it out. Is this for you? Is it not? As Phil said, you'd rather be informed. And that is so important. Link to it is in the show notes. Check it out and check everything else out as well. And do check out Sizzle Maker.io. Made you promote it yourself.
I know.
Then.
I was like, I don't want to promote this, Giles. It's just become a thing that's happened. But okay.
But it's a brilliant thing, and everyone should check it out. Both those things. Right. This has been amazing. I hope you've learned loads. Please reach out and say what your thoughts are on this, on our Instagram, on our socials. I'm dying to know.
Yeah,
what do you think about this?
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
And the whole abuse, that's fine. I've had worse.
It's true. And it is fine. But look, but do it in the right way, because we're trying to give you the information to help you as filmmakers. So that's why we did this episode. So, and also Jonathan Young is an amazing producer in his own right.
$2 billion at the box office. I mean, I think he knows a few things about how to make movies.
Knows a few. Absolutely. And the Dare is part of that, by the way. There's a few, couple of million in there from the Dare. Drink. So yeah, there we go. Right. If you are lucky enough to rise up through the AI ranks. No, rise up and do well. It is your duty to
generate the elevator back down.
Yes.
And
Perfect.
then it doesn't work, so you have to reprompt it and it'll come down and it'll flip and it'll do it the wrong way. So you've got to regenerate it again to bring the elevator back down and all that stuff. Yeah.
And all that. But once you do that, help the rest of us with the 560 billion fingers that don't look right. We will see you all next Tuesday. Phil Hawkins, you're a superstar. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah. Thanks for my sense of reality.
My pleasure. I've been Giles Alderson, and we will see you next Tuesday. Take care, everyone. Bye.